What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. So we've moved our rigs just for the short term. Actually, we moved them out of our under construction mining room and out here out into the open. Reason being is I'm going to be starting wiring some electrical in there, as well as we're going to be installing some of the installation boards, so I need to get these out of the way. So in today's video, we are actually going to do a 2 GPU build. So as you guys can see, I actually removed the two R9 380s. They've really been giving me some trouble in this mix rig. So if you guys don't forget, if you guys watched my previous video, I'll put a link in the upper right hand corner. This is currently a 4 GPU rig, and we're actually mining Ethereum on AMD. We have a 580 in there. I'm also mining Ethereum on a 2080 as well as a 1060, and then finally we're mining Ravencoin on the 1650. So we're currently running 3 different flight sheets. Well, we were running a 4th flight sheet as well, which was running the R9 380s, and I constantly kept having issues with the miner just stop mining on its own. So I decided, you know what, today I'm going to build a 3rd rig, and it's going to be a 2 GPU rig to get us started. So let's go ahead and walk around the other side here. Okay, so this is what we're getting into today. So here's our 2 R9 380s. We're going to be running, if you guys remember, I had my Mighty Mouse build, which was made with an HP motherboard. That's what we're using today. You guys can see we have 2 PCI slots there, which will work well. We're using the Aries Game 750 watt power supply. That's going to power the motherboard and both of these small cards. We do have our U-bit risers as well. And then I am going to be mounting everything on this little, look at this little rack. You see this little cool little rack? I found this in my garage and I was like, I am putting this to work. So we do have some standoffs to mount the motherboard and also the power supply as well. Our 2 R9 power colors, which are going to be using there. And I think that's really it. There isn't really that much more. We got some wire ties and stuff there. I mean, this is going to be a short build. It's nothing too special, too crazy. We are going to get HiveOS set up over here. I do have to add another miner in. Oh boy, there we go. I do have to add another miner in HiveOS here. So I will be doing that here shortly, which will be kind of quick and easy to do. But other than that, guys, let me go ahead and get some things situated and we'll be back in just a second. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Instead of using the standoffs right now, just to speed this up a little bit, I do have these rubber mats. We're going to use that for short term for this setup here. So this is actually a HP motherboard that I pulled out of a HP Tower. I can't remember what model it was, but I will put a link in the upper right hand corner to the video that I did on this about building a super cheap mining rig. That's pretty much what this is here. I mean, we're not spending buku bucks on this at all. So we're going to put our motherboard here for right now in this setup here. And what I'm thinking is hard drive over here. So let me grab our little SATA cable and we're just going to go ahead. This is actually a 90-degree SATA cable, which is actually really nice, but trying to do this holding a camera is quite unique. So this is going to go somewhere over here. Now our cards, I'm probably going to put over here and then put my power supply right here. And I do have lots of room. This is going to be a little different. The cards are actually going to go this way. So let's grab our power supply. Now this is semi-modular, so we still will have to deal with some of these cables here, and I'm going to have to put this on rubber as well, especially being that. So we have our 24 pin, which we're going to have to go ahead and get wired up. This is actually interesting. Having this little bar up here is kind of nice. You can kind of route your cables over it. We have our SATA cable, which we're going to have to wire over to the hard drive. And then finally, we do have a 6-pin to 8-pin right through here as well. So we can use these. Oh no, this is for the CPU, sorry, CPU. So it's funny, this board actually uses a small little 4-pin. So let me go ahead and get the power taken care of and good to go. And I'll be back in just a second. Alrighty, so I just spent some time getting things laid out. Here's what we got. So the motherboard I got placed here. I did do this little 4-pin into the CPU, runs back here. I haven't zip tied or anything yet, or velcroed anything yet. I got my 24-pin going in there. My SATA cable, which I'm going to put my hard drive probably right here on this little. I got all these little pieces of rubber left over, so I'm going to use those. Put my power supply there, and then I have my 2 cards right here with my risers facing towards us, so that we can easily service them as needed. That also gives us some room that, like, if we get a hold of some more of these. Now, these are the PowerColor R9 380s. So I mined some Raven coin on these when I did have it on the rig over there, and they just got really hot. Like, they constantly were at 70C or higher. So I decided to swap it up to Ethereum Classic, and they, you know, as you guys know, Ethereum Classic is sufficiently, doesn't run as hot, is more efficient, and was really happy with it. I also want to diversify what I'm mining. You know, right now I have Ethereum, I have Ravencoin. I'd like to add Ethereum Classic to the list. So this is a perfect opportunity. So I have all this in place right now. So now what I'm going to do is, I have this this great little adapter here. I'll put a link down below for you guys. And all this is it goes USB. It actually is a solid state drive copier, but I don't use it for that. I just use it straight for, and I guess you could actually copy a bunch of solid state drives and make a bunch of them and just have them ready to go for as you add rigs. But it just is USB, plugs right into your computer, is powered, and then this allows you to go ahead and actually create your Hive OS software and everything like that. And what I'll do for the rig, so what I'll do is I'll put a link in the upper right hand corner to how exactly to get Hive OS, the operating system, onto the solid state drive. I have a full video on this for any of you guys that are new, but let me go ahead and do that real quick and I'll get this plugged in and out of the way. Okay, so there is a full tutorial, as I talked about, in the upper right hand corner, and I'll go ahead and put a link down below. But what we're doing is we're going to go ahead and download the Hive OS image right here. You can download the zip file. So we're going to go ahead and download that. In the meantime, I do have, there's a flashing utility that you do download, and it's called Etcher, and it works great. What the software does is it takes the Hive OS image and it puts it onto the solid state drive. That we do have set up right over here in our dock and cradle and good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and download this operating system image from Hive OS's website, image it directly onto the solid state drive, and then we'll get back over to our build. Alrighty, so BEtcher is underway, going ahead and flashing our drive. If you guys are interested, as I say, I'll put a link down below to this USB adapter for SATA. It works great, it's awesome, as well as I got a bunch of these 128 gig solid state drives. I'll put a link down to the ones that I use below if you guys are looking to nab a few. So I do have my, while we're waiting for that, I do have my risers here, and these USB cables I think are going to be a little too short to go from here over to into the PCI adapter slot. So I have grabbed some of these. I bought a bunch of these a while ago. These are 3-foot braided USB A to A cables. They're actually pretty decent quality. And I've used these in my other builds where the card was just a little farther away from the motherboard than the traditional ones that come with these. I think these are 2-foot and these are 3-foot. So I'm probably going to end up using these. I was thinking about more and more, do I have the riser here or on the other side? I'll have to kind of play around with it once we get into it. The nice thing is if I do use these cables, I'll have plenty of room for wiring to kind of clean it up. This will be the front, that'll be the back side. So we'll have to see here. Let's see how our image is going. Looks like it's just about done, so I'll be back in a second. Oh, there we go. All right, cool. Okay, so we got our hard drive in place with our SATA. You know, the SATA has multiple different, you know, these ATX has multiple different SATA cables. There's actually a Molex on this one as well as our SATA cables plugged in, good to go. So now what I did was I broke out our Aries game box. I'll put a link in the description if you guys are interested in looking at more details on this. These two yellow cables are not part of the box. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I need to find these guys right here, these PCIe cables, and this is a 6-pin or it's a 6+2 to plug into the power supply to power my cards here. So I got one, and the nice thing is I'm going to do one lead into the power supply, and then these cards actually take two 6-pins, so this will be perfect because this will break off and it'll be two 6-pins. So this will handle one of my cards, and then I have another PCIe here. This will handle my other card. So then all I have left is to power the risers. So the risers take two 6-pins. So let's see here, what do I have? It looks like I have another one right here, so this will actually work out well. So let me go ahead and get the power all wired up, and we'll be back here in just a minute. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and show you guys how I did the one. So we plugged in to the back, oh god, the back here, our 8-pin, and then it came down, and there's our R9380, and you can see it has a two 6+2, so a 6-pin, or you can pop off the 2-pin. So this lead is going to power both of those, which is completely fine. I mean, these cards barely use any power to start with. This is a 750 watt, so it shouldn't have an issue at all. So we're going to do the same with this card, and then we have to go ahead and get our risers in place. Okay, so both cards are powered and good to go. Now let's talk about risers. So we have two of our U-bit risers. These kits, I'll put a link down below to them. They come with the PCI adapter card, with the riser, and then with these smaller cables. So these are the longer braided cables. All the links to everything, guys, will be down below. Here is what I'm going to use actually for powering the risers. So because of the way that the power supply is laid out, I have two 6-pin slots left available to me. So we're going to go ahead and use these cables. These you can actually buy quite a few. I think they come in 8 in a pack. And these are your 6 to 8 pin. And then this is actually a Y splitter that goes into two 6 to 8 pin. So these are okay for risers. I'm very comfortable with doing one lead into two risers. I actually have the same setup over here on my big rig, where I do have 13 cards right now, and most of these risers are one lead with split between two. So let's go ahead here and sorry, stepping around stuff. Let me get my risers installed. So first what we're going to do is we have our PCI adapter. Make sure you guys always put these in the right way, because you can fry these suckers. So the the outside clip piece on the far left that you see here always goes to the outside. Okay, 1 and 2, which is cool. So now I'm going to get my risers installed. I can't do that with one hand. And then we're going to get our power wired in, and we're going to pipe our really long USB cables over. So I'll be back in just a second. Well, it's done. I can't believe how simple this is. So our risers are in place. As you guys can see, our risers here, we have our USB cables here, and then we have that yellow and black 6-pin that goes to the splitter to power those. You can see we have our braided USB cable, comes up, we have it tied along the rack, and then bam, just goes right into our board there. Very basic, very simple. I actually was thinking about this entire setup for mining Ethereum Classic is an under $500 build. So let's break down our costs a little bit. Estimates, guys, estimates. So the motherboard, the RAM, and the CPU all came out of a HP tower that cost me a total of $50, okay? Plus solid state drive is like $30, plus a $80 Now this is a bronze 750 watt power supply. And then we got both of these for, I want to say $300 total. And then this is like a $10 little metal rack deal. So this is a great starting point. If you guys are interested in getting started mining, like these are some of the things you have to go through. Now, you start small. That's what we're doing. Now we have room for growth. We could add maybe 2 more cards here. I'd be probably, but we'd have to get a PCI splitter. So you'd have to go from they have these cards that are PCI 1 to 4, which we could get, and then we could expand over here. So I'd say we'd probably go to a max of 4 cards on this build, especially with a 750 watt. Other than that, everything you guys see here, I'm going to put links for down below. Even the risers, the GPU hangers, guys, I'll put a link down to the Misfits Mining Discord. You actually go into their Discord, and then there's a whole separate channel for purchasing these individual hangers here, which are pretty cool. So let me go ahead and get this rack over toward that way, over towards the rest of our rig, and we'll take a look and get it powered up. Alrighty, guys, we have the rack in place right next to our other big one here. And we do have our 240 volt wired in off of our PDU over here. So we are wired up and good to go. We have Ethernet plugged in as well, going over to our switch. Lovely 85 degrees down here. And yeah, let's go ahead and look into getting this powered up here. I just need to find the switch. All right, I am an idiot. All right, so we are on and good to go. I did have to rob the switch from one of my other rigs. Completely forgot about that, so I'll have to get another switch here shortly. But let's go ahead and power it on. Well, after a little bit of testing, we are up and running. Everything is good to go. I'll swap over to HiveOS and show you guys in a second. There's a few things that I kind of forgot about on this HP motherboard. I still have to figure out how to turn off. It actually gets an error when you first boot it. You have to hit F1, so I had to hook a keyboard up to it because there's a fan sensor that's missing, so I have to disable that in BIOS. The other thing, and the biggest thing I do not like, is on the back side of this, I had to go ahead and find the 6-pin cable that came with this power supply, and I had to power my risers via SATA, which is there's 2 SATA ports on these U-bit ones. I do not like powering anything with the risers via SATA, so I'm going to have to come up with a better solution for that. But let's go ahead and jump over to HiveOS. Alrighty, guys, we are over on HiveOS, and we have elected to name this rig Pixie. This is based off of the X-Men character Pixie. As you guys know, I name all of my rigs based off of X-Men characters, not because I have this huge love for X-Men. I mean, I grew up watching them and really enjoy the comics, but I thought it'd be fun because there's a bazillion different X-Men characters, and so I thought I'd try to find them. So this one's named Pixie because of being a small little basic setup. As you guys can see, both of our 380s have shown up in here. We have applied the Ethereum Classic flight sheet, as well as we're mining right now to Hivon. So I am going to go ahead and turn on mining. It is turned off currently. And let's go ahead and turn that on. So we're going to go ahead and restart our miner, and we'll check back in just a second to see how our hash rate is. Okay, so we jumped over to Hive in a Shell right now, and there we go. We are off to the races. We are at just over 19 mega hash each, so we're just shy of 38 mega hash right now on Ethereum Classic off of our 380s, which is great. Interesting enough, there's definitely a huge watt discrepancy. This one says 101, this one says 129. Is that right? Let's look here. I'm just kind of reading. We'll give it a minute. I'm reading through I wanted to see. Okay, 102 and 129. So yeah, man, these cards totally different. I'm gonna have to configure these a little bit differently and not configure them the same. Even though I have the exact same overclock settings or the same memory and everything, they are like just shy of 27 watt difference between the two of these cards. Either way, temps are looking good. Yeah, you can see the one is up significantly. I mean, 64 degrees versus the 52, so a big difference there. But success, guys. We have gotten our 2 GPU mining rig up and running for under $500, and we are mining Ethereum Classic at just shy of 40 mega hash. Well, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. If you guys are interested in any of the parts that we did use in this video, please go ahead and check the description. You'll find links to everything. Take care. Okay, if you guys stayed to the end of the video, then good for you. I did spend some time going ahead and trying to adjust this overclock settings. I do feel we can get 40 total, but my goal was actually to get our watts down. So we were way up there over 100. Now we're down significantly, 90 watts and 83, which has tremendously helped out our temperatures. We're nowhere near 65 anymore. We're now down to 55. Both of these cards probably need new thermal paste, so we'll have to do that. I did go ahead and make some overclock settings, dropping down the core state down to 2, and that has been tremendously great for our wattage and our adjustments there. But right now we got 17 and 18, so we're about 35 mega hash right now, so not bad. I mean, we're barely, look at our estimated wattage, 173 watts. Not too shabby. Well, thank you guys very much. I'll see you next time.